Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit about what I've done in 2025 with my planner system. I've always had something set up where I wasn't just in one book for the year. And I don't normally go through sharing this information, but I've been watching quite a few YouTube videos and decided, hey, why not share where I am in my journey and where I'm going or where I think I'm going in my journey. And not only that, but I find that the videos that people make, they are pretty helpful when I'm doing research or I'm trying to figure out, what should I do next. I guess that's kind of considered research too. So today we're going to be looking at what I have used this year, and then we will talk a little bit on, well, not this year. This year's over. Well, that year is over. We are now in 2026, so we're going to talk about what I did in 2025 and what I hope to do in 2026. We will have to make another video when my planner and my planner and my journal come in, and I will show that to you. But yeah, let's move forward. So if you enjoy this video, I do ask that you give me a thumbs up and a follow if you would like more content like this. I also do bookish videos, and I do all things crafting. So I am a knitter, crocheter, spinner, weaver, and I'm a fiber artist, I guess I should say, in my own right. And I share those things here. I do have a podcast that involves all these things. And so if you enjoy it, then I ask that you stick around, connect with me here and on socials, and let's get into the video. So today I am drinking from my Ember cup. This is a gift from my oldest son. It is a cup that heats up your drink and it keeps it hot. You can operate this cup through your phone, and I'm currently drinking a espresso Starbucks blonde roast with a little bit of brown sugar and oat milk. And so I absolutely love this cup because I realized after he bought it for me that when your coffee or your tea stay hot, it has a different flavor than it does when it begins to cool. So definitely love this gift. It's one of my favorites. Over the past few years, and by few I do mean probably about a decade, I have chosen to use different types of planners. I've always journaled my whole entire life. I've always written. I've published books, but more than writing for others, I love writing for myself. And so I have all types of journals and books that I've written in. But when I became a mom, especially a mom of 3 at the time, I have 4 now, I found that my life needed a little bit more structure and organization outside of what I could fathom in my mind. And so my husband and I and my children, we were in Utah at the time, and I went to the Franklin Covey store. And that is where I was introduced to the world of planning. But I haven't looked back since. And through that journey, I began to get into different types of planners, whether it was the bullet journal or the Hobonichi, the travel journal. And, my journey has really expanded. But I will say that at all points, I have been able to grow, and not only in a personal development way, but I've also been able to grow as a mom and as a wife, as a woman in business, and even with my hobbies and spirituality. So, this is something that I deeply cherish. And these tools really help me to explore the depths of my mind, my desires, my goals, all these different things. And so, yeah, that's what these books and these tools are about. They're pretty cool, they're cute and everything, but the truth is that there's more to them than just what meets the eye. So this year, last year, I have to get used to saying last year because it's the second day of 2026. So Last year, and I'm hoping that my mic is fine because that's a gift my son got me. I have a Rode wireless mic, and it's supposed to help me with my videos, so I'm excited. And I'm also using this cool tripod my husband got me. So yeah, they're helping me with my hobby, right? And we're gonna make it happen. So let's get into the meat of the video. So in 2025, the majority of my planning was done here in this Franklin Covey Aurora binder. It's pretty chunky. I love big books, and I cannot lie. But the majority of my planning was done here. So in 2025, I used this Aurora Franklin Covey planner. It was actually a gift from my husband a few years back because it is a 100% leather Franklin planner cover, Franklin Covey planner cover that I didn't think I would be able to get again. And this was something that I really, really wanted. So he went ahead and he got this for me. This is this is a Aurora Franklin Covey planner, and it is in the not compact. Yeah, it is compact size. Okay, so I will show you a little bit of this and what it looks like on the inside. I don't normally show a lot of my pages when I'm doing things like this because I have a lot of personal stuff in here, but I will show you some. The other thing that I used this year was my Hobonichi Weeks, and I will tell you how I use these systems shortly, but I used my Hobonichi Weeks, and then there were some things done in the Hobonichi Techo. These are the main systems that I used here, and then there were some things done inside of my travel planner. Okay, it's a travel, I mostly use this as a travel notebook. There are other tools that I've used as well, and those are my 5-year Hobonichi notebook, I guess it would say. 2026 is going to be my last year for this because I have had it since I think 2022. And then this was what I used as a content planner type deal for business and blogging. So I'm going to kind of walk you through, and please know that I have other planners, like literally other notebooks and things that I use, not really planners, but other notebooks that I use. So let's start with how I would basically sit down and do like my month. So my system has been based on using my Hobonichi Weeks. It's been based on using my Hobonichi Weeks as a starting point for my month and my week. I would sit down and I would use this planner and the things in the front as a way to organize and structure my thoughts for where I wanted to go in the month, and then every week what I wanted to do in the week. This is a mega, so it's bigger than the normal Weeks is, and I use this, the front portion, as planning and tracking, and then the back portion was used with some of my bills and my house cleaning and my thought processes. I also use some of it for my book tracker, my projects, knitting projects and things like that. And then I began to use the very back as a gratitude journal and as a just kind of a place to drop some of my thoughts sometime, because this comes with a lot of pages that are not normally in the regular Hobonichi. So I have another one that I can show you. So this is a regular week size. This is when I first started using Hobonichi. This is my 2022 version. And then this is my 2023 weeks. So as you can see the comparison in the page size for it. So I have actually been using Hobonichi since 2022. And then I got the 2023 and I went back to the smaller one for my 2024 and jumped back into the mega for my 2025. So I'm going to show you once my new Hobonichi Weeks planner comes in. I will show you that. And maybe one day I'll do a little bit of maybe one day I'll show you what I've used over the years for my Hobonichi. So I use this planner as a way to sit down and structure my thoughts for the month. And, you know, I would schedule out my bills, any activities for myself and my family. And then I would use the weekly pages as a way to start my week, set up all the things, meal plans and everything. And then I would keep this inside of my purse. This would go with me everywhere because in the beginning of the year, I was actually waiting on my Franklin Covey pages to come in. And so I needed something to house everything. So I used this to start off with, and I would keep this in my purse with me because there were times when I just did not need a huge book. And by huge, I mean my compact Franklin Covey is not exactly that compact. So it's a little bit difficult to take with me everywhere all the time. So this was one of the foundational pieces of my year, and it will continue to be actually. So, and that was one of the reasons why I did invest in this cover, which I absolutely love. And if you go back on my channel, I believe I shared a video or two when I actually got this cover here. So I absolutely love that. Now, I use this Hobonichi Techo as a way to do some journaling throughout the year. I felt like I really just needed a place in 2025 where I could just drop some thoughts, and it didn't have to take pages upon pages upon pages. It just could be one page at a time. And so that is how I use this Hobonichi Techo. I really didn't, when I purchased it, I didn't want to miss out on having this size book for the year because every year since 2022, I have had my compact, I have had a Techo, and sometimes I've purchased a cousin or I've used a bullet journal. Now, I always have a bullet journal, but how I use it has changed based upon whether I have my cousin or not. So I did not want to not have this size, and so I decided to get it and then use it as my daily journal. So that is how I used this particular Hobonichi size. Then throughout the year, I would, you know, jump into my Franklin Covey planner. And this planner is the meat and the potatoes. I mean, this is where everything is basically housed. As you can see, it's a thick one. And it is thick like this every year. Every year I have to change out my inserts. I have to update, you know, everything here in this planner. And when I keep a bigger bag with me, I do carry this every day. It is something that is like my go-to when it comes to not only scheduling appointments, but keeping notes, understanding like what's coming up for the day, being very specific and strategic about things that need to get done. When I am not using this, I feel scattered, and that is just the truth because I like to keep um, track of where I am and what I'm doing. And by not focusing and dropping my thoughts in here throughout the day on what needs to get done, or, writing down phone numbers and things, it's hard to keep up because then I've got sticky notes and everything everywhere, and that is not the goal. So, this is one of my go tos. It will not be going anywhere. I am contemplating, oh, I need to fix this, but I am contemplating if I want to move into my my Croc skin planner. I think it's a Moterm. I'm not really sure which planner it is, but it is a suede planner that I might be going into for 2026. But this feels like home to me, so I'm not sure that I will come out of it versus just cleaning it up and redoing it as I do every year. I use the Franklin Covey planner system. And the thing about it is they have weekly inserts, but I don't prefer them when because I don't want them in this book. I've tried that. I've tried having the weekly and the daily in this book at one time, and it just overloads the book and feels very unnecessary. Um, I feel like it is enough for me to plan out my week inside of my Hobonichi weeks, and then to keep that with me on the go because I can pull it out when we're at appointments and kind of, put things in. And I transfer things from my um, my daily Franklin Covey planner into my weeks. And so to me, that's how I stop my mind from, feeling like everything has to be in here. And as you can see, nothing else is going to fit in this binder. So to load it with more inserts is just not working. Now, if it did fit, if it did work, I would love it because I did do it prior to jumping into the weeks. I think from 2019 through 2022, that was where I experimented with the different versions of the Franklin Covey planner system to see like, did I want to add the weeklies to my planner? And I found that my answer was no, and that's how I got into the weeks. So but this system, I absolutely love it and I wouldn't replace it. I've had it every year since 2012 and I would continue to use it. So, we'll go through this one day, but essentially it is me doing a brain dump. I open up my weeks and I look at, okay, what is on the schedule for the week? What have I said I need to clean? What am I cooking? What type of responsibilities do I have? What do I need to do in business? What needs to be paid? Things like that. And then not only that, but what did I say I want to do for myself? And what am I doing with my family? I open up my Franklin Covey planner and then I do a brain dump, right, of all the things that I'm thinking I need to get done for the day on this list. And once the list is filled up, I do have these smaller inserts that I put on the second page and I kind of write those things out. But if it doesn't fit on the list, that it's kind of an indicator that it's too much for the day. And then I go through and I list out the priorities. A is must be done for the day. B is could be done for the day but doesn't have to. And C is like it doesn't really have to be done today. It's just kind of on my mind. And if I get to it, that's cool. And then in each category, there is, I listed. One is the first thing to do, all the way into however many A's there are. And then we go into the B's and the C's. And then I look at that list and anything that can actually fit on the calendar that's time sensitive or that I want to do within a certain block of time, I put in that calendar. And then from there, I know what my days should look like. Does it always happen that way where exactly what's on the page is how everything gets done? No, but it stops me from wondering constantly like, okay, what should I be doing next? What I absolutely love about this system is that I don't have to sit down and write out, draw out the day, the schedule for the day. I don't have to draw out the monthly. I don't have to draw out the weekly. Now, I'm not opposed to doing that because I did do that for a time inside of my bullet journal. But what I found is that when life is really revved up, right? Because I currently homeschool, I run a business, I'm, very busy in my family, and then I have things in my personal life. When I am, uh, you know, moving faster in life, there is less time, or I guess I should say, I want to exude less energy drawing lines. It doesn't mean that I never draw lines, it just means I don't want to have to draw the lines every morning. And so that is where this structured system comes in that I deeply cherish. And so this is what I have used for 2025. A little bit about my traveler's notebook. So this is not used as a planner. It is used as a keeper of things, a brain dump section, and something that I have used to help me with the different areas and places in my life. So I did some goal mapping. I kept track of things that were taking place with the kids, doctor's appointments, any medical or dental things that I need to keep track of, and also for myself. It was a place where when I got paperwork that needed to, stay in my purse or in my bag, and I've removed it for this video, but I would actually keep it back here, and then I would close off my travel notebook and I would keep it with me. But there were no questions about like where were we in any process. And with anything that I had to attend in person, those things were able, I was able to keep track of that. And it wasn't a place of planning. So once I got my goals set and I knew what I was doing, this was where I could drop in things, just kind of keep a list of things. Whereas all of these other things, they had structure, this did not. And I feel like when I give myself room for structure and freedom to not have structure, it feels so good as I am moving throughout my days. And it is just the freedom to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And what I mean by that is like to stay focused on the things, but also to give myself time and place to not focus, to just dump and just be. And so that is what this travel journal was throughout the year. Now, the other thing that I mentioned is that I did have a lectern journal. Every year I have a lectern. And in 2025, my lectern housed my content planning for my business and my podcast. And as you can see, I do like green. So I also have my beautiful pen that matched it. But that is what this was. Now, this is where I did draw some lines. I did, update my calendar in a way that wasn't as structured because I was creating the structure of it. And I like the freedom to do this. And so this is what I'm saying when I'm talking about like within my system, right? I have things that I want to be very structured, and then I have things that I don't. And so this was one of the things when it came to the content calendar and the posting. I wanted to have the freedom to, on some days, have lines, and on other days, be able to just fully brain dump and brainstorm with everything just being everywhere. And then I can mind map and figure it out, because that figuring it out process would help me to really hone in on what I wanted and what I need to do in my business, in my content, and sometimes just having it there on the paper, not necessarily like when everything had to be done, especially when it came to my podcasting and growing my bookish and my crafting, channels and spaces across the internet. And even in person, I found that this process really helped me. Just having it on paper and saying, okay, this is what I said I wanted. This is what I was thinking. Does it work? Does it not work? And, in this book, I cross things out. Sometimes I'm like, no, this doesn't work. And I make notes around it and everything. So I really enjoy using the Lecterm. I've gotten my daughter, my 17-year-old, I've gotten her into it. Every year I've purchased her a Lecterm journal, and this year she was like, Mom, I'm going to get my journal. So she went and she got it. And it's such a beautiful thing when I see my kids picking up on the stuff that I'm doing, and they're learning from watching me. And not only watching me, but as I give them the tools to do the same thing, and, when we first start, like with my 12-year-old, she has a journal. Her journal has lines. She does get a Lecterm as well. And I kind of guide her as to what to do, but I don't make her do all the things. And so she figures out her way as she's going through her process as well. But I just love seeing them start. So that is the basis of this system that I have. I do use other things. I do have smaller journals and books that I write in throughout the year. Like I have a book journal, I have my knitting journal. And what I'm going to do is when my Hobonichi Weeks comes in and my other planner that I'm going to be using, I will come back and I will share with you what I plan on doing for this year, because 2026 is going to be just a little bit different when it comes to my setup. I'm trying something a little different because of who I am right now, where I believe I'm headed and what it is that I think I need at this time in my life. I plan on coming back and sharing some things with you that I plan on doing for the year coming up and how I think it's going to help me. And I also, some of the stuff that I purchased, some of the things that are coming in for the year, I wasn't able to find videos on it. So I do want to share, it's not really some, it's one of the things. But I do want to share that with you. And I am really excited about what is going to be coming up in the year. And not just what's coming up, but my planning process for it and my journaling process over the next year. I'm really excited. And I think this is one of the best things about having this system, having these tools, is I get to look forward to the journey that I'm going to be on with myself. And I've looked forward to it for, every year for a really long time. And I've used the tools that I've seen people share online, not just like the books, but how you use your things. I've incorporated certain things into my process. And there are things that I keep, of course, and things that I don't. But I love the journey. I love the journey of figuring it out, and self-expression and this self-awareness, that I get to experience with myself. So if you are interested in learning more about what I do and how I do it, then make sure that, you follow along. If you like this video, please like it. And we will be back again when my other things come in. I'll have my podcast coming up soon because I do have a few episodes that I've edited and that need to be edited to be uploaded. And I've got a few different things that I want to do for this next year. But of course, I've got to sit down and plan this stuff out. And then we will be moving forward. So if you enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments what was your favorite thing that I shared. If you have any questions for me, let me know. And don't be a stranger. So until next time, I will see you soon. Bye.